Hello everyone, I'm Heath, and in today's video, what I want to do is learn how to play the One Ring, because obviously I am a huge fan of The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Middle-earth in general, and I've played various different incarnations of role-playing games that are set in Middle-earth, but I haven't ever gotten into the One Ring, and I did back the One Ring on Kickstarter, and so I really want to be able to get into this, I believe the second edition of the game, and go through this and figure out how to play. So rather than digging into the main rule book, I did get the starter set with my Kickstarter pledge, and inside there is this abbreviated rule book, which seems like a pretty reasonable place to start to me. So I thought it would be fun to sit here and go through not every bit of this, but I want to get into the meat of exactly how to play. We can figure out what is inside of this, but then how exactly do the mechanics of the game work? How does combat work? You know, what exactly are we doing when we try to play this game? So that's really what I want to do here now, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, so I hope you'll join me. I do have not only this book, but I've got a handful of these dice, because it uses special dice for the game as well. So those are right here. Now, I do know that there was an error with these dice because they sent out a Kickstarter message about it, and I think I'm supposed to be getting some new dice, actually, because this D12 is apparently misprinted. This is, I think they call it the feet die or something, and it has two symbols on it, and the symbols are supposed to replace the 12 and the 11. So you have 1 through 10 on it and then two special symbols. But for some reason, this does have the 11 on it on both dice. So I'm supposed to be getting replacement dice, but they're still perfectly usable. It's just that when we roll an 11, it means we're rolling a 1. But in order to remind myself of that, what I thought I would do was just take a little bit of acrylic before we get started here and just fill in one of the 1s on the 11. That way I've got a 1. That white acrylic paint is not the same color as the white dye, but nonetheless, it will help to remind us that if we roll the 11, we are actually supposed to be rolling a 1. And I'm sure that somebody will say something about, oh, well, now you've offset the weight of the die or the balance because the 11 has extra material removed or whatever, but I'm not worrying about that. This is perfectly good enough for us and the way we're going right now. So now, the One Ring, the rules. Let's see what this is all about. Prologue, and a letter from Bilbo Baggins, Esquire, to Balin, son of Fundin. Alright, example of play, which actually I like. I think we talked about that when I went over the MERP books. I always like the examples of play. I'm going to skip it for right now. I believe this is also some information on the setting here. We'll skip over that. In the Shire, the structure of the game. Okay, action resolution. This looks like where we should start in order to learn something about this. Alright, so it says, the main way for players to participate in a scene is simply to tell the lore master what their player heroes are doing and how they intend to do it. In game terms, this is called taking an action. When to roll. To put it simply, the lore master should ask for a die roll only if there's a possibility that the player's action might fail. If the description of an action does not leave any doubt about its outcome, there is no need to make a roll. The action succeeds automatically. Standard role-playing stuff in today's world now. But this is not all there is to it. Resorting to a roll should be considered exclusively if the action or its goal fall into one of the following instances. 1. Danger. Roll if the action is dangerous. Okay, knowledge. Roll if the action aims to obtain information that is not immediately available. If the knowledge that the heroes are looking for is not secret or hidden, do not roll. Now, I wonder if that says it's not immediately available. I would guess that would mean not in the player's head. Are we going to be doing knowledge rolls here? Or, rolling to know something? Generally speaking, I'm against that. But if you're trying to gain knowledge out of some other character, then that would certainly be an instance where you would think that it's not immediately available. It's in somebody else's head who they don't want to give it to you. Or maybe, hidden in some type of puzzle of ancient runes or something. In manipulation. Roll if the action intends to influence one or more uncooperative lore master characters. If what the hero asked of them is coherent with their motivations, do not roll. Okay, so the One Ring dice. So we want to know how to use these dice. The One Ring makes use of a specialized set of dice, including 6 D6 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got those right here. And 2 D12 sided dice, and 2 12-sided dice with 2 special icons This is right here. These are called the feat dice. So that's what we've got. Making rolls. Once the necessity for a die roll has been established, it must be determined who is going to make the roll and which ability is most appropriate for the action. Who rolls? Determining who is going to make the roll is easy in the case of actions chosen by players, but can be less so if the action is being made as a reaction to something described by the lore master. Generally, it is highly advisable to have a single player make a roll, except when something involves everyone in the group. To do so, the player simply chooses the player hero who is best suited for the task at hand. So, which ability? The ability to use depends mostly on the type of roll. So we've got skill rolls, and we're contrasting this with combat rolls. Skill rolls. By far the most common type of actions, skill rolls are required whenever a player hero attempts to do something that can be accomplished using one of the 18 skills listed on the character sheet. Combat rolls. When involved in a fight, the player heroes rely mostly on their combat proficiencies to make attack rolls and on protection rolls to avoid being injured when hit. Okay, so we've got an element of active defense as well. Finally, the lore master may ask players to make valor or wisdom rolls prompted by sources such as fear or sorcery as indicated in the text of the adventures. Make the roll. Once determined the correct ability, proceed to make the roll employing its numerical rating. All abilities that can be used to make a roll are given a value of 1 to 6. Roll 1 feat die, so that's the d12, plus a number of success dice equal to the rating of the appropriate ability. Roll only 1 feat die if the rating is 0. Okay, I feel like what we should do at this point is get out one of the sample characters that it comes with in order to be looking at not only this, but like when it's saying, look at your abilities, we'll be able to see that. Okay, here is Balin, son of Fundin. So he works. Okay, so where were we? We were looking at making the roll. So once determined the correct ability, once you have determined the correct ability, I guess, proceed to make the roll. On its numerical rating, all abilities can be used to make rolls are given a value ranging from 1 to 6. So here is strength and athletics. So I'm guessing we should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we've got 6 different dots on each one of these different skills. And so, like, axe is 3. So I'm guessing that each one of these that's filled in is supposed to be one of the, like, the ranks, the skill ranks in each one of these. So if Balin or Balin, I think I used to say Balin, Balin, son of Fundin, if Balin here is trying to sing a song, he has 2 different boxes checked here, so that to me seems to imply that he's got 2 success dice, and it says you always roll one of the feat die, and you just roll the feat die if it's got a 0 like hunting. Oh, he's not a very good hunter. So roll 1 feat die, plus a number of success dice equal to the rating of the appropriate ability modifier, so there we go. Add up the numerical results on all dice, comparing the total to the target number associated with the rolled ability. Okay, so I would roll here. Oh, I got the I symbol, so I have to figure out what that means. I got 7 and the I symbol. It says add up the numerical results on all dice, comparing them to the target number associated with the rolled ability. In general terms, if the rolled total is equal to or higher than the TN, the roll is a success, otherwise it has failed. Fairly standard right there. A successful roll indicates that the acting player hero achieves their goal, while a failure means something went wrong and the desired goal was not achieved. Some rules state explicitly what happens in game terms with a failure or a success, combat for instance, while other situations require creativity from the players and the lore crafter. Okay, so I'm trying to come up with, add up the numerical results on all the die, comparing it to the target number associated with the rolled ability. Okay, so I was wondering if this was the case. I've got TN right here. So this is strength, this is heart, this is wits. So I've got TN. So my guess is that if I'm trying to accomplish something with strength here, and I'm playing Balin, then I guess I need to roll equal to or over a 13, which in that case I did not. Maybe something to do with heart. I got travel indicated here on this side. All right, we'll just keep going. But it does seem like that's the TN. Now, I do like that, generally speaking, because it does allow the player to have everything on their sheet in order to resolve an action. So it's kind of like in GURPS when you're trying to roll over or under your skill, and when you look at your your character sheet, you can see the skill or see your strength or see your dexterity, and you know exactly what you have to roll over or under. Of course, something like Dungeons & Dragons, where the target number is defined always by the game master, you always have to make an inquiry. Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it very difficult? Is it whatever? And that makes different levels of your which admittedly that does seem to make sense, because what the target number is something that is in the world, and that's what the game master controls. But on the other hand, it is easier if the player can just look at the sheet, know what to roll, and have some idea of a target in order to see whether they've accomplished the task or not. It does make gameplay easier. That concludes the first part of our video on rolling dice and taking action in the One Ring Role-Playing Game. Our look at this game will continue in the second video, where we will look at roll modifiers, target numbers, and conditions. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed this video, please check out the playlists on my YouTube channel. I have a lot more on role-playing, fantasy, storytelling, and even action figures, all organized by playlist, so pick out a topic you're interested in, click the playlist, and enjoy some videos. See you in the next video.